Well, guys, we keep getting closer and closer to the completion of our negative G F3 build built on TRX4 axles. Now, one thing I decided that I wanted to do was get the body trimmed and mounted appropriately so I could kind of figure out where I wanted to put all of my electronics. Now, you're going to have your usual things that you need to worry about as far as like side clearances and everything else like that, but there are a few ways that you can mount this body. I'm using the J Concepts Creep, which is a half cab, and inside I am also using the negative G half cab mounts, which is a pretty nice design that is basically some more carbon fiber pieces that come up into a body mount system, and you have two posts sticking out from the back. Now, if you were to do a full bed, then you can see that you've got body post mounts back here in the back. Now, one of the reasons why I wanted to do this was because I need to figure out where and how I'm going to mount my electronics. And I'm also kind of trying to figure out what I want to do with the battery situation. You can see this is an 1800 milliamp 3S. It's a pretty small pack and it does fit in here, but with the half cab mount, it's going to take some finagling. So it's a little too long. So things get a little picky inside of this vehicle and these custom vehicles alone. Like, this isn't specific to negative G. This is just how I am trying to approach my build here. So one thing we're going to do, of course, is we'll talk about this when we get into the whole electronics part of the session. Probably going to put the ESC here. Definitely going to need to shorten up some wires. Probably switch this to like an XT30 connector to use some smaller batteries with the XT30s. Going to have the ESC far enough so it clears the back of the body here, which is going to be pretty close, about right there. All in all, I probably should have went for a direct powered servo with a smaller 40 amp ESC. I chose this one because it had the built-in BEC, so that way I can just flip a switch and get high voltage to my HV servo. Going to figure all that out. Now, when it comes to the body itself, you guys have probably done this before and I have not, so therefore it's a little bit tricky for me. Besides your clearances and everything that you have to account for, both front, rear, side to side, I'm still trying to figure out how much of that nose I want to keep on there. Some of it does stick out. And, you know, if we're going for ultimate performance, it's going to probably get hung up on things. I kind of like the way it looks, so we'll see how that goes. Maybe it's something that I can address in the future. Now, one thing that you are going to have to do is if you want to get your body slammed down and you don't want your body post sticking all the way up, which just recommends that your body posts go all the way down, maybe a new version of it, or maybe we could print these in TPU or something to keep them from breaking during a rollover, especially in a colder conditions. So that's one downside of the nylon type of stuff. Have mine, and I noticed Ferrari had his too, is you're going to need to make some clearance cuts for all of your shocks and, you know, the pieces of the frame that stick out right there. I went a little bit overboard just because originally where I was trying to mount the body, I thought that was the way that it was going to work. So I probably could have brought these back a little bit there. All in all, it's fine. We've got clearance. It's my first body. I'm sure we will end up doing another one. These Proline Creep bodies are pretty thick up here. So scoring and cutting the Lexan, you know, you definitely need, obviously, sharp hobby blades as well. The stuff back here is very flimsy, so it cuts and drills out really nice. And then depending upon, you know, how you want to make your arches and how you do things, you know, I'm just kind of like going in line with the skid plates right there. Kind of seems like everybody else is doing that as well. Other thing to think about is, you know, this is a 3D object. So if you can't make a cut from up here, you can always go under here. And then since this stuff is so really tough and thick, what I'm going to be doing is coming through with files and cleaning and sanding all that up, and then get the whole body off to paint. So I hope that gives you guys some things to think about. Only the other thing I could really mention real quick is if you do use the half cab mount, It goes right here on the inside of the frame rail. You'll have to remove your links and your spacer, and then you are going to get some longer screws that come in this kit that you can actually replace with, and you can see how everything is going through right there. I only have one screw going through, and the mount is super stable. You could always put another one in there if you wanted to get a little bit of extra protection. And then the mount itself just barely clears the transfer case right there. The design and maximizing every little millimeter of space with this kit is pretty much where it is at and where we are at. All in all, I am having a great time. It has definitely been a learning experience for me. A couple trips to the hobby shop. I'm sure we're going to have to make another one or two before this is all over, but it's all good. Who doesn't love going to hobby shops? So that's it about the body and the body mounting, guys. We'll talk to you later. Peace.